Rishi Sunak has doubled down in his defence of his controversial Rwanda policy, dubbing it the toughest immigration law ever. Have a listen to this.
Let me just go through the ways that individual illegal migrants try and stay. Claiming asylum, that's now blocked. Abuse of our modern slavery rules, blocked. The idea that Rwanda isn't safe, blocked. The risk of being sent to some other country, blocked. And spurious human rights claims, you'd better believe that we've blocked those too, because we're completely disapplying all the relevant sections of the Human Rights Act.
Sounds pretty ambitious, doesn't it? And who would think, watching that this is not a massively big plan that's all going to work terribly well? Let's talk now, though, to Conservative MP for the Isle of Wight, Bob Seeley, to see what he's got to say about it. Bob, a very good evening to you. Welcome.
Hi, Mike. Good evening to your listeners and viewers. Great show last night, by the way. Great panel.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. I'm sorry to sound so negative about Rishi Sunak. You know, I don't want to kind of say that his party is over, but I'm less and less convinced every time he tries to convince me that he's going to do any of these things, you know, because he's got a track record now of making promises that he doesn't really keep.
Okay, look, I mean, I heard your intro. It's fair comment and all that. Look, it's a free country, free speech, so you're welcome to say that. I don't buy it personally, so I disagree with what you have to say. Okay. When it comes to keeping promises, we've got inflation down to under half, we've got debt down, and the economy is growing. So we are hitting our targets. Small boats, look, it's a package of measures. Rwanda's one element. It's a very high-profile element, but it's one element of it. And unlike most other European countries, where you've got illegal immigration being 80, 90, 100% up over the year, we're down 30%. So actually, our lack of success is much, much more successful than most other European countries.
Yeah, but when you listen to what that sounds like, it doesn't sound like a very logical statement, does it? Your lack of success is more successful than other countries. And that's the best you can come up with.
Look, I'm putting it... OK, Mike, I was putting it in terms of negatives because that's what you're talking in.
Yes.
When we said we were going to get illegal migration down, it's down 30% this year. Illegal entry, small boats are down a third this year, yeah? If you look at other countries, they're up in Europe by between 80 and 100% on average. Most other people would kill to have our success over the past year. Does that mean the planes to Rwanda have gone? No. Rwanda is primarily a deterrent because if you come to this country but you end up in Rwanda, it's a very, very visible sign that that's not a great idea to come to this country illegally.
Yes.
But there's lots of other things happening as well, including more work with the French, who are difficult, but we have to work with them because they're our neighbours, whether we like it or not, and doing treaties and deals and sending back migrants to countries like Albania, where you've had 90% reduction in illegal migration. So the facts are speaking for themselves. We're reducing it. The problem is not solved, but unlike in the rest of Europe, it is being reduced.
Yes, but that unfortunately might be true, but unfortunately it doesn't matter, because if you tell me there are fewer Albanians in the country, you should have been down in Westminster when they celebrated National Albania Day last week, when there was a couple of thousand of them driving around and bringing London to a standstill. They weren't going anywhere. We've also got just this week the 2 RAF bases, which are now going to be taken over for use by migrants who are already here, which people are not happy about. And I know that, you know, that's people who have already got here. And if you're reducing by a third the numbers coming illegally, you're talking about, what, maybe 15,000, no more than 20. When you've got 750,000 net migration coming in legally, it's like a drop in the bucket.
That's a different subject.
But it's not a different subject, Bob. It's the same subject.
Let's talk about illegal migration in a minute.
Right.
But you're just throwing everything in. You're getting this big bucket and you're trying to pour it over my head. Great,
I'm not trying to pour it over your head. I'm just trying to present it to you.
Can we take the buckets?
Yeah.
But can we take the bucket? It's one bucket at a time.
Okay. I'm in a small bucket.
No, but let's start with the illegal immigration bucket, which you're attempting to pour, and I'm trying to avoid. Okay. I've given you the facts of it. That we are getting the numbers down at a time when the rest of Europe, they are going up sharply.
Yeah, no, I get that, and that's fine.
I want the Rwanda policy to work. I hope we can get it through.
Yes.
But the reality is we're reducing the numbers as it is. Now, ask yourself this question, Mike. You are knocked off, that's probably a polite way of putting it, with the Conservatives. Do you think the Labour Party would make this better or
No,
much
absolutely
worse?
not.
Because they will undo everything that we're trying to do.
No, I have absolutely no faith whatsoever in the Labour Party, and I think it would be an absolute
Okay.
bloody disaster, OK? But this is why I'm trying to egg you guys
Thank you.
on to do what the public wants in order so
Yeah.
that you will be voted for.
Yeah, I get that. So I thank you. I think you're calling it tough love, yes?
Yes, exactly. And you're used to that, Bob. You can handle
No,
it.
we love a bit of tough love.
So I mean, all I'm saying is that
Cameron.
as I represent the people, and I know some of your colleagues don't think that that's true, I listen to them, I hear what they say. For them, the whole immigration bucket is one bucket. And even though you'd like to separate it up into other smaller buckets, it doesn't matter. It's all one big issue.
Okay, I buy that, and look, I appreciate that, but I also try to speak for the people because 56% of those who voted on the Isle of Wight voted for me in the last election.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of concerns. Some of them, are immigration based. Some of them are others. So I get the sense that we have to deliver on this because I want to deliver, and I want to be one of those people that, frankly, under promises and over delivers.
Yeah.
And not one of those pretty awful people that overpromise and they never deliver. So I try to deliver for folks on the island, and I try to be part of a team that delivers nationally. Let's come to legal migration. I'm not going to defend the legal migration numbers. They're way, way, way too high. And we need to be getting it down to something below 200,000 and preferably around the 100,000 mark. On this issue, I will have a bill, which I'm going to try to bring as a 10-minute rule bill. It's not going to become law, but I'm trying to get it in our manifesto that will give Parliament, every MP will vote to set legally binding migration and asylum targets. So, Mike, every member of Parliament will have to go back to his or her constituency and say why they voted for 700,000 or 50,000 or 1 million or 10, whatever the number, because you are right on this. It's too much. And until the politicians become very directly responsible, they're not going to own the problem. So I want them to own the problem. So that's why I wanted to take these separately, because they're separate issues.
Yeah.
The illegal immigration stuff, we've got to drive down to zero. We're not going to get it to zero, but we need to get it into the low thousands. We're the only party that's ever likely to do that. And however much people want to give us a kicking at the moment, there is not a single problem, a single challenge, a single issue that the Labour Party will not make markedly worse.